Good afternoon, and thank you for watching. It is appreciated as always. Thank you. Never let anybody tell you that you're not in a two-tier society, and never let anyone tell you that ethnic minorities do not get special consideration. We're going to talk about the alleged scumbag and the convicted scumbag that assaulted the police officers in Manchester Airport last year. Now, one of them was found guilty. They are currently on remand, and the other was acquitted on some charges, and actually they are both facing retrial in next year, in the spring, in April. So I want to refresh your memory first of all. Two brothers accused of assaulting a police officer in Manchester Airport will face a retrial in April. Mohammed Fahir Amaaz, 20, was found guilty on Wednesday of assaulting members of the public and two police officers during an incident which was filmed and later went viral on social media. The jury at Liverpool Crown Court spent 10 hours, for some reason it took them 10 hours, deliberating and could not reach a verdict on allegations Amaaz and his brother Mohammed Ahmad, 26, assaulted PC Zachary Marsden, causing actual bodily harm. At earlier hearing, Judge Neil Flewitt, KC, set a retrial for April next year, and the case was estimated to last 3 or 4 weeks. That was when one of the perpetrators was found guilty. There were rumours that one of them was, shall we get into special treatment? And I want us to unpack that a little bit. Now, the one who was found guilty, just so you know, Mohammed Amaaz, he actually posted for bail, which is allowed in England and Wales if you can argue they're not a flight risk. What I found strange regarding this whole thing was that when the one that we got, the one who was convicted, when he was not given a sentence, which I thought was quite strange, so I had to look into it a little bit deeper, which we'll get into in a minute or two. All of this reeks of political interference and a politicised judiciary. Ask yourself if this was two white men, two native English, Welsh or Scottish people in this United Kingdom. Would they be waiting for a sentence, or would they have been sentenced already? Some people make the argument that the judge is waiting for the conviction or acquittal on the retrial regarding the assault on the male police officers before he actually imposes a sentence for the entire offence or collective punishment for all of the offences. That's unusual, but it's not unheard of. The Ministry of Justice told Reuters earlier this year in an email that Amaaz is in prison on remand, because there's people saying that he's not actually in prison because he's not been sentenced. That's not actually true. He is in prison, but he is on remand. He is probably getting the kid gloves and he's probably getting special treatment, but he is in prison. Both brothers face a retrial relating to further alleged assaults on a male police officer, which I've just discussed. Court officials told Reuters via email that a bail application for Amaaz, listed for the 26th of August 2025, was later withdrawn, probably because they knew it wouldn't be forthcoming. The next hearing is scheduled for November 26, 2025, ahead of a retrial set for April 13th, 2026. Reuters, in September 2024, addressed the false suggestions that probes into the violent incident at Manchester Airport had ended. Imran Khan partners defendant Amaaz did not respond to Reuters' request for comments. Just so you know, okay, Imran Khan partners they actually have an entanglement with former First Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf. Make of that what you will. The most important thing that I want to get into is the delay in the sentencing. I think they are trying to avoid political fallout, and judges are not meant to do things like that because of political sensitivities and ethnic minorities and communities. All of this BS and nonsense has got nothing to do with sending a violent thug who has been convicted to prison. Nothing. If white people, EDL members, to use a phrase, even though it's no longer in existence, the far-right thugs, the football hooligans, if they were all on remand pending a conviction, their brothers and sisters and people of the wider movement out on the public, do you really think them rioting because their people are in prison would sway any judges? Of course it wouldn't. Nobody would sway, or you would think would sway, a judge. This is what's happening here in my view. I stress this is just my opinion. And we get on to this. Why would the delay sentencing? Strategic reasons. The judge or prosecution may want to wait and see the outcome of the retrial before deciding the sentence, especially if the undecided charge is more serious or would significantly affect the total sentence. Totality principle. In the United Kingdom, there's all three jurisdictions, England and Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Judges can consider overall criminality of a defendant's actions. If a retrial could substantially increase the seriousness of the offending, the judge may delay sentencing to reflect the total picture. Practical reasons. If a retrial is imminent, but it's not really imminent, it's 6 months away, it might be efficient to deal with everything together. Yeah, I'm not buying that. Legal clarity. Judges may want to avoid passing one sentence on part of a case. Further developments could change the context, i.e. pending charges, and lead to a life sentence. Yeah, I'm not buying that either. I think it's all about political sensitivity and cultural and community tensions from imported minorities into the United Kingdom. Never forget, the reason why these assaults happened so violently and so publicly is certain minorities think that they deserve special treatment, or they think that the laws of the United Kingdom do not apply to them in the same way. When we get delays in sentencing or anything like this, it's hard to argue against that. It's hard to say that that's not the case. I know if I was convicted of a violent crime, disclaimer, I've never been arrested, let alone convicted of a crime, I'd be in prison before my feet touch the ground if I was found guilty, and I would be sentenced there and then on the day. I wouldn't get a stay of execution, to coin a phrase, which is what this guy who's been convicted has effectively been given. The most likely outcome, in my view, is he's going to be released pending the retrial, and they're going to count the time served off his sentence, and he'll probably walk on the day. And that's my personal opinion. As always, your mileage may vary. I think this is highly politically toxic and sensitive to the Labour Party. Most of the judiciary vote Labour, in my view, and they don't want to hurt the ruling Labour Party. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. If you think I'm right, let me know. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.